I was in accounting for, it probably wasn't as long now as I think 3 or 4 years. And actually, I hated it. Did not enjoy the job as it was. I was never someone that like thought in my life I was going to write any book, let alone a cookbook. Since I've always had such a family kind of here that is like my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my parents, that's been such a part of my life that all my food kind of feeds and comes out of that. So I think for me to make sense of a book that maybe you've been following me or haven't been following me, I wanted to be able to tell those stories and those snapshots of where it all comes from.
Perfect.
Welcome, Odette. Have you been to Iowa before?
I've never been to Iowa before. First time.
Now, I wish you were here in June. That's when it's beautiful and green and lush.
I'll have to come back.
Yeah, you will, because right now it's kind of brown. But we're going to make it feel a little bit better because we're going to make something that I feel is really cozy. I'm sure we all have different things on what cozy food is.
Right.
For me, it is chicken and biscuits.
Oh my gosh.
I've gotten some of it ready, but
Okay,
if you
perfect.
want, I do have a sharp knife.
Okay, perfect.
Are you a sharp knife person?
I'm a lefty, so that's...
Oh my God.
So I might need to switch sides with you.
Just to tell you, I did just sharpen my knives.
Okay.
I always think I feel much more comfortable and safe with a sharp knife.
Yeah.
My great-grandma, I think, used to say, if a knife was dull, she would sit there. Actually, my grandma said this. She was like, I could ride to China and back on this thing. And that let you know, like, I need to sharpen my knives, Grandma. Because it does make a huge difference. So I'll let you get a couple more carrots ready.
Okay, perfect.
I'm also, as you're doing that, going to have the butter just start melting. I'm not someone that used to feel like I was so sentimental, but I think just having grown up in that idea and knowing that my grandparents had tractors going in the field, my grandparents, my parents, there's something about that that then just kept drawing me back and feeling very rooted here. And it's what kind of gave me that sense of belonging. Mm-hmm. And it's something that still just makes me feel, I guess it's sentimental, but it's more, I think it just gives me that like purpose of feeling like there's more of a story than just me.
And so, like, what was daily life like? What was your childhood like growing up in this area?
I always had to be careful to not sound, I feel like a pioneer or something when I'm doing this, or like it was like I was in like Little House on the Prairie. Where we live is very rural, so we were always just a very like close-knit family that was always here. So when I was growing up, my grandparents lived in this house I am, and I lived kind of across the road where my mom now lives. And so growing up, if it was in the summer, because we were out of school, it was very kind of idyllic now when I talk about it. So my sister and I were outside most days. We'd walk over to grandma's a lot of times. And this was the grandma that lived here, Grandma Alice, who now just lives about 5 minutes away. And we would make cookies with her. We'd go on bike rides with her. We'd be playing in the yard. We loved to have like fake garage sales and move our playhouse like in between old farm buildings, which no one would come to except maybe grandma. And kind of just to be able to move around. So my sister and I are very much like us together. We did have chores and things. Mom always had a huge garden, still does. I'm a big proponent that if you can garden, like if you have the privilege of having space to garden, garlic is the easiest and best thing to grow. Oh my goodness. I plant them in the fall, so usually around September, October. They sit all winter. Their roots just begin in the fall and they kind of go dormant. And then this spring, they'll come up, and by like the end of June, I'll be harvesting beautiful garlic.
Amazing.
And it's from the previous, it's like the cyclical thing. I love that.
And is it like pretty hardy? You don't need to.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, I'm zone 5B, so gardening has zones.
Didn't know that.
Depending where you live, it goes kind of by zip code, but like we have a climate that changes, across the United States. So there's like zones, and in 5B, it means like in the winter, I can get anywhere like to -10, maybe a little colder degrees Fahrenheit.
It's chilly.
So your gardening zone is what lets you know when you can plant things, what you can plant, how cold you get in the winter, things like that.
How did your family help you along in your journey to where you are today?
I think it's one of those that it's kind of that old saying of like you owe everything to your family in a weird way. But like when I was growing up without realizing it, I was kind of in a constant place of learning in school, just because if I was with one of my grandmas, they would probably be teaching me something. Or when we were sitting maybe getting apples ready to can or make applesauce, I was sitting with my other grandma talking about, various things she made for her family growing up or her mom made. And I think that constantly started building these things in my mind of understanding and learning about food, but also about what food means to us. And so I think it was that idea of being able to pass those things on. Like when I started making videos and started putting recipes with Wise Guide on my website, I started realizing what a lot of people were grabbing onto was kind of the idea of family and where it all comes from, and having like those same stories, being able to like, when I visited my grandma on her farm, I remember her doing that. And now I'm so excited that I never learned how to do it, but you're showing me. And I think that's what this is for me, is a little piece of my family can hopefully like go to so many people that maybe didn't have that and now can say, oh, that's right. I always wanted to know how to make that.
So what are some of your other favorite recipes in the cookbook, would you say?
They're all my favorite.
Yeah. You don't have favorites?
Cinnamon rolls is one of my favorites just because we so often had cinnamon rolls growing up.
Yeah.
And grandma always, I will say my grandma Connor always had the best and will always have the best cinnamon rolls, that I can never just perfectly have them as good, but I think it's because she made them.
Yeah.
And nothing will ever be as good.
That's
you know,
sweet. Yeah.
There's just like always something in your life, I feel like, that someone makes it, you're like,
Yeah.
no matter if it's exactly the same,
Cannot compete.
never as good.
Yeah.
But I do love the cinnamon rolls in here.
Not for lack of trying.
No, I know. No.
Are there any riffs in that recipe, or is it pretty classic?
Ooh. Do you like cinnamon rolls?
I love cinnamon rolls.
So if you're gonna have a frosted roll, what's the frosting like?
Like the sweet cream, the
Do you
the cream cheese.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this
I
is not that.
Okay.
I trapped
Great.
you in that. No, I know.
I walked right
Most
into that
people,
one.
like, that's always what they will want.
Yeah. What have you
Growing up,
done?
we never had that.
Okay.
We always had what I call a brown butter frosting. So you brown butter, and you put some vanilla, some cream, some powdered sugar. There's some salads in here I really like. We're gonna have one today. The untossed salad. It was my favorite growing up, my dad's favorite. I will still eat it. But it was iceberg lettuce chopped up. It had peas and bacon, hard-boiled egg, maybe onion. And then it was put together in like a dish. Some people call it 7-layer salad.
Okay.
And then it was just topped with only mayonnaise. Just like a thick layer of mayonnaise.
Could you see the salad beneath the mayonnaise?
No, you encased it. I love iceberg for certain things, like on sandwiches. Iceberg is always good, that crunch, that crisp. But in a salad, I like more of a romaine, like a baby Jim that has a little bit more texture.
Right.
And so this salad, I think what I love about it is it's a lot of the elements of what I grew up with, but in a way maybe we want to eat today, but slightly even like, I think, more flavor.
Okay.
Is what I remember. I mean, just mayonnaise is great.
I love mayonnaise.
But only mayonnaise as a dressing, maybe not.
We can bring it into the modern era.
Yeah, that's exactly
I like
right.
1, 2, 3.
I was in accounting for, it probably wasn't as long now as I think, 3 or 4 years. And actually, I hated it. Did not enjoy the job as it was. But it was while I was at that job that Wise Guide started, more out of a place of me being really unhappy and wanting to find a place to kind of find some form of happiness. You know, I was coming home every day and I was working outside, or I was planting a big garden. I was doing all those things, but I wasn't doing anything. I think I knew I enjoyed them, but there was no way to make a job out of them.
This is looking beautiful already.
So that now we're gonna let come to a simmer, and we can work on the biscuits actually. I'm just gonna make sure it's all kind of stirred in, let that come to a simmer on its own. So how often do you make biscuits?
I have never made biscuits before. I've eaten a lot of biscuits.
I'm so
but
excited
I
to
know,
share this
is my
experience
first time.
with you
I know.
then.
It feels very
Okay.
American.
So do you want to get your hands dirty, or do you want to keep your hands clean?
I would love to get my hands dirty.
Good. I like that answer. So in that, if you just want to mix that around, that is our flour, our baking powder, a little bit of baking soda, salt, and then some thyme again. So we're just kind of upping that thyme that was over here, putting it into there. And then I'm going to, have you ever cut in butter to something?
No.
Okay, you're going to do that. So what I do when I do this.
What, cut in butter? What does that mean?
So it's from the old term of when you would have a pastry cutter and you would cut butter into the flour.
Okay.
So in this case, what we do is like making a pie crust. We pick up maybe a little cube of butter like this. I first like to coat them all in the flour if I can, just because it keeps them in small pieces. And then I take my thumb and my forefingers and I pick up a piece and I smash it with the flour like that.
Okay,
Kind of like a
incorporating.
hand frissage, if you've ever heard of a frissage where you push it in. So we're just trying to incorporate it into the flour, but it stays in your regular pieces, which is essential for a biscuit.
Okay.
Because that creates little pockets of steam when it hits the oven and it gets flaky. And I'll grab an egg.
This in itself feels nostalgic.
Does it?
I feel like it.
So, Wise Guide, you've obviously grown the brand over time. How do you feel like you've changed over the years?
I think it took me a long time to figure out like who I was or who I wanted to portray. I think when I started, especially with food, I felt like you had to be kind of like what I grew up with, like I just kind of have been mentioning, it was like it was normal to me and kind of boring. And so I thought I had to try to like impress with something like, let's say like a French macaron that was like, oh. But then it also, I had no stories ever to go with it and there was no point to it. And so I think I had to grow a lot in feeling confident, probably, but also kind of excited about the food and understand why it could be maybe exciting for someone else, which I think took a lot of growth. And it's probably still something that's taking growth, but I think it's just finding your voice is where that growth comes into. Because whenever you start something, you have to figure out like, why is this worth putting out there? Like, who am I talking to? What do they know? What do they not know? And so I think to figure out how you want that voice to be. And for me, it was honestly just being me, which I think took a while because we all kind of put filters on ourselves, or
Right.
I do. Whether it's like you think of things from junior high or elementary or high school and you kind of like try to change yourself or mask certain things. And it wasn't until I feel like I started just putting it out there on what I love to do, why I do it, how I do it, showing the ins and outs of everything and not feeling like, oh, I'm only going to show the perfect parts, but just kind of being there. And I think that took a lot of growth to get to that point. I will now, you don't have to really make a well, but kind of in the center. And I'll just stir that in really quickly here. Sorry, I think my mom's here.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Odette.
That's fine. So this is now thickened up enough, which you can see it's just kind of simmering and bubbling.
Yeah.
Smells really good.
Smells amazing.
So we have the draw biscuits.
Okay.
We need a scoop, which I have right here. So if you just want to make a tight kind of, I'll do one.
Yep.
And this usually makes just enough that you just make tight biscuit,
Uh-huh.
and then you just literally scoop it right on top.
Okay.
There's no perfect, and they're not going to be perfectly formed. They're a shaggy, rough biscuit.
Uh-huh.
You just kind of start spacing them around.
Okay. Roughly how many biscuits are
I think it makes 9 if I remember right.
So it's the depths of winter now. What are you cooking more of or less of now versus summer and spring? And also like around the house, what are you doing more of, less of?
Well, I'm always someone that like loves soup. So usually I'm someone, especially like if I'm not doing, I do a lot of videos for my website and things. So a lot of times there's lots of leftovers going on. So this might be the time of year.
That
Now,
one-
Odette, that may not pass.
What happens
the
if that?
inspection
What
later.
happens if that happens?
You know what we can do?
Can you
Julia
redo
Child
it?
used to say, if no one knew what was going on, that's okay. So what we're gonna do is just make it a little tighter.
That can be my one.
There. And look,
Perfect.
we won't tell anyone.
No one will know.
No one will know. I am someone that will still do lots of like roasted vegetables and different things this time of year, just because,
Yeah.
It's been the holidays. I don't know, like while I do cook with the seasons, there's certain things that I definitely make year round,
Yeah,
like
right.
roasted vegetables. Like in the summer, I'll grill them. In the winter, I'm going to roast them. Things like that,
Yep.
that don't really change too much. So this goes right into an oven. So instead of like baking the biscuits separately, they just get baked right on top.
Okay, perfect.
And that's kind of the beautiful part. There's always room at the table, friends. Let's dig into it together.
Do you know why I'm calling?
No. You don't, yeah, nothing's updated, Emma.
Okay, well, I am calling with the very good news that you can call yourself an instant New York Times bestseller. Congratulations. You're number 4 on the list, which is truly amazing. So we're so happy. This is the first week you were eligible and you instantly were on it. So congratulations.